to my last video where we looked at contract, offer and acceptance. Today, let's look at, within the ambit of offers, the distinction between what is put on the table. Is that an offer or is that an invitation to treat? This distinction is important because if it is an invitation to treat and you accept that, there is no contract. So that's why we have to make this distinction right up and before an actual offer is made. One thing to remember is that before an offer is actually made, there will be pre-contractual negotiations taking place, and those will in effect lead to what we refer to as an offer. So to understand this concept a bit better, let's take a look at some examples through penultimate case laws that have occurred in the past. Firstly, goods displayed on shelves or in shop windows for sale. Is that an offer or an invitation to treat? The answer is such goods displayed in shop windows or on shelves in shops are actually invitation to treat and not offer, even if the label reads otherwise, such as special offer or offer. And the penultimate case in this regard is Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain and Boots Cash Chemists, which was settled back in 1953. Now, Boots Cash Chemists started a new way of selling their drugs in store. They would display the drugs on shelves or in shop windows. Customers would browse through the shops and then select the items and pay them at the till. Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain objected and said that as soon as a person or a customer selects a product or a drug from the shelf, that is an acceptance. And that is why goods displayed in shop windows, for that matter, are an offer and not an invitation to treat. The matter went to court, where it was decided the customer is sometimes browsing through the shop, looking for products, taking the product from the shelf, putting them in the basket, and then putting some goods back onto the shelves and browsing for some more. So that is not an offer, but an invitation to treat. Because up until the point when the customer has paid for the goods by taking them to the till, an acceptance is not officiated. And therefore, goods displayed in shop windows are an invitation to treat and not an offer. The second example that I would like to share with you is that of advertisements. Stuff that you read in newspapers and commercials which try to sell you products of all sorts. Are they offers or is that also an invitation to treat? The general rule is that advertisements are invitation to treat and not an offer. However, there is a general exception, and that is when the advertisement is capable of being interpreted as a unilateral offer, then it can be made to look as an offer as well. Now, we will look at unilateral offers, not now, but that is a concept that we will broach in lectures or sessions afterwards. Right now, let's keep it plain and simple. The main case on this principle is the Carlisle and Carbolic Smokeball Company, which were decided back in 1893. The defendants in this case, the Carbolic Smokeball Company, placed advertisements in several newspapers stating that if people were to use the smokeball in the way that they had instructed, then people would be prevented from contracting diseases such as cold and influenza. And in order to show their level of sincerity, they were even readily available to offer a £100 reward to anybody who used the smokeball as instructed and still contracted a cold, a flu, or influenza in that matter. The plaintiff, Lily Carlisle, bought the smokeball, used it as instructed, and still caught the cold. So the question for the courts was whether the defendants had made an express promise, or by stating whatever they had in the newspapers, it was a mere sales puff which had no meaning whatsoever. The court held that in the case of reward payments, they are generally construed to be mere puffs with no enforceability. However, in the present case at hand, by offering a reward of £100, by showing or by also stating that it was in line with their sincerity, was more than a mere puff and showed that the defendants were intending to be bound by a contractual promise, and therefore Lily Carlisle was able to claim in this regard. Third example that I would like to share with you is that of auction sales. So up until the fall of the auctioneer's hammer, an acceptance is not made, a contract is not finalized. Because up until the fall of the auctioneer's hammer, the bidder can revoke his or her offer at any time before that happens. One thing to keep in mind is online auction sales, which is still a grey area and is desirous of case law upcoming. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was what I had to share with you with respect to distinction between an offer and an invitation to treat. Thank you.